Get moving.
It's time to pack your shit, and we're all going to Germany.
I'm not.
Everyone on the entire planet, except for Xaverius. Like,
Go to Germany, and I'll take the rest of the planet. Thanks.
yes, so the entire planet, all 7 point whatever billion of us will all be in Germany. Specifically,
You'll get free houses.
especially near the Chiemsee, Germany, will all be there, and Xaverius will be all alone. And then he probably goes on an epic quest into Russia or something, and he discovers all the abandoned nuclear weapons.
I would like Artrix. The entire world will be mine. I'll just get drones to do that for me.
Hmm. Oh yeah. But you know, which drones would you rather have, the American ones or the Russian ones? I'm pretty sure the Russians have drones too. You know.
I'll use all the drones.
Anyone can make a drone these days. All you need is a couple of AA batteries and a propeller, and you're done, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But the important part is to have a drone that's strong enough to fight the Amazon drones and take their sweet loot.
That's a very good point.
Oh, so you are a drone pirate.
Yeah.
You are a drone pirate.
That's actually going to be a problem if Amazon ever actually launched those drones, isn't it?
The
Drone
people
piracy.
just you know, going about trying to catch them drones.
Like, I mean, you
Oh,
can put
God.
you can put cameras on those drones, but you know,
I can already see it.
all those cameras are going to see is like some houses under that, and suddenly there's a black drone with knives taped to it and black skulls all over it.
Or
Just going to ram the Amazon drone.
or just imagine these random rednecks somewhere in the desert, and they're like, hi, Papa John, look at that, it's not a drone, it's not a drone, let's shoot down. In my worst American accent, but
My
Come
God.
on, Kratos.
I just realized
yes.
source of infinite dinners. Just shooting down Domino's drones all day.
Oh yes. Hee-haw! We just got ourselves let's see, American barbecue. Oh yeah.
Oh no, vegetarian pizza.
Oh, throw it back in the air. Just throw it back, Johnny. Throw it back. I don't want it anywhere near me.
Honestly, it's better than nothing if you are hungry.
No, it's not.
No, not in the Arizona desert. You don't. It needs to be. It needs to have at least. It needs to be at least 50% meat. If it's anything less than
Yeah.
that, you throw it back. You know.
I decided to
I'll
get a
eat
pasta.
roadkill armadillo before I eat a vegetarian drone pizza.
Hey, don't armadillos cause leprosy?
Probably. They're delicious though.
My God, myself some possum pizza with some armadillo and sprinkle on it. Or maybe that's what they do. They just, you know, fish some. You know, they go out fishing and they fish some American barbecue pizza, or I don't know, kebab pizza. They have those these days. Yeah. And then they're like, you know what this needs? It needs a little. I need a little bite to my pizza. So here's some armadillo roadkill right here. So we'll just, you know, slap it on there. Now it tastes just like home.
Tastes like armadillo.
Top kick. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Radio Rothingham, the world's least professional podcast on the world internet.
No. Yes.
The world of the internet.
Indeed.
And I am in fact drawing a logo for this dumbest thing that has ever been conceived by mankind.
It is you.
It is
Indeed.
I. And it's I on a logo for Artrixcon 2017.
No, I just thought the dumbest thing ever conceived was you.
I thought it was Hearthstone.
And that's why you're drawing yourself.
No,
And
obviously not.
Why aren't you going Hearthstone?
The heart sounds pretty dumb too, but I don't know. It's a pretty far second from Artrix.
I finally stopped playing it a few months ago.
Well, I'm obviously the end product of human evolution, so...
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah, humanity has to end somewhere.
Exactly. And better be me. That's right. You heard it on Radio Rothingham first. I'm gonna be the cause of the end of human civilization. It's gonna be pretty hilarious actually. Everyone, you know, is looking towards it with dread. They're like, oh my god, the end of the world is gonna be so terrifying.
In a world
where the world ends because of Artrix.
And that's still better than Emoji Movie.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
So who's watched the Emoji Movie now that it's been out for a week?
I haven't.
I did not have the courage.
Anyone? Anyone watch?
I don't care.
There is. I have not watched it, but I have studied the news about it. I do have some good news and some bad news.
Do you also have some mediocre news?
Well, the mediocre news is the movie itself.
Okay.
Well, no, it's worse than mediocre. But okay, so the bad news is that it made half of its budget on the opening weekend.
Come on.
That's the bad news. The good news is, as of this point, not made back its budget.
So in other words, it only needs to make even more money just to be considered profitable.
In order to be considered profitable and to warrant a sequel, it has to make more than its budget.
Yes, obviously.
Well, they
Thus far, it made only slightly more than half of its budget.
You know, I kind of love how it works these days. It's like, this thing made some cash. Let's make 17 copies of it and never change a thing, and then wonder why are people not giving us the money.
The weird thing about movies is they actually need to make back considerably more than the movie budget, because you also have to include the advertising budget and the mercantile budget, which ends up adding up to a lot more than the initial budget.
Usually, if they did not do all those ads, they would have made a better movie for that.
That's true. And also, generally speaking, if they don't make it back the entire budget in the first weekend, it's usually considered an abysmal failure. But
most people expected it won't make even part of the budget.
Yeah, apparently people are saying Emoji Movie is actually doing pretty well though for its
Considering how awful the reviews are, yes.
No, it's actually doing reasonably well just as a movie in general compared to the other movies. Although that said, it's selling about the same at the box office as movies that have already been in the box office for more than a week. Which isn't exactly very good, but it is making enough, unfortunately. And if it makes enough,
but not enough to warrant a sequel, like Boss Baby did.
That's the thing. It could still be slightly profitable, but it's not going to be a Shrek, thank God.
No, it's definitely not.
Even Minion.
I think this is gonna be one of those one-hit quote-unquote wonders, if you can call it that, where they're like, well, I guess it made some money, but you know, we had a good run. Let's pull the plug now. It's still kind of novel, I guess. There was also this thing with the Emoji Movie where I think it was Sony itself that was trying to get the reviewers to drop their reviews because of the reviews that the movie flopped. It wasn't because the movie was bad. No, it was purely because there are bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
But obviously, all those reviewers are evil. Well, after all, Sony did not allow the reviews to be published until like the day before it.
Oh, so an embargo on it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Although,
I mean, if there's a company that decided to embargo reviews, like until the day before the release or the day of the release, well, that's a good sign that you should not go to see that.
I'd say the Emoji Movie probably made all its money off children anyway, and children don't give a shit about reviews. Children look at silly ads on TV and say, "I want to see that," so I can't imagine review scores having any significant effect on a movie like the Emoji Movie. Ghostbusters, however, a movie targeted more older people who have, knowledge and history with the franchise. Reading the reviews probably was more relevant for them.
Only that over there they seemingly successfully bribed the reviewers to give it good reviews, and it was still a failure.
Also, that movie seemed to be going with the marketing strategy of, what will do wonders if we shit on our audience,
Yeah, that was a really weird strategy.
Yep. Like
I find it questionable.
If we just shit on our, on the people that are most likely to go to see this movie, then everything will be super great and we'll be rich. And then they were really surprised when quite the opposite happened. And they were like, oh my god, it must be online misogynists. There's no logical explanation for this.
Everybody keeps comparing when it comes to attendance the Emoji Movie to Dunkirk just because they released in the same time frame. How would you compare those two to each other?
They're exactly the same.
Yeah, both are about a hard time in human history.
Oh no.
Wait, Emoji Movie was about a hard time in human history?
Yes,
because
the movie is the hard time in the
exactly.
Exactly.
The existence of emojis is the worst thing to happen in reality.
It's something that can be
US pesos. Domestic box office 37 million. International box office 78,000. Well, that's not updated yet. They did not make it all back yet. Dunkirk, on the other hand, production 150 million. Domestic box office 115 million. International 131 million. So together that's 247. Yeah, Dunkirk already made a 100 million over its production costs.
Well, obviously we're gonna get a sequel to Dunkirk then. It's Dunkirk 2, Attack of the...
Well, that would be technically D-Day.
Yeah.
Dunkirk 2, Attack of the Baguettes or something like that.
Dunkirk 2, the DD.
Dunkirk 2, Rise of the Emoji Menace.
Where the hacker girl emoji goes back in time to defend Dunkirk, so it couldn't defeat the Emoji Movie.
Then again, I mean, Dunkirk isn't that good after all, because if you take Pixels, which released 2 years ago or something, well, in that time it managed to make 244 million. Like Dunkirk made that since it was released a week ago. Right now, there's no financial difference between Pixels and Dunkirk.
And that movie was awful.
Well, it did Adam Sandler in it. I mean, like, Adam Sandler is the Nicolas Cage of terrible movies.
Oh yeah, I just remember people have been on the internet ragging all over it's not out yet. It's a Ready Player One, and just feminists have already decided it's going to be the worst movie ever because it's about gaming.
Oh, good.
It's going to be the most misogynist movie ever
Wasn't
made.
there like extremely misogynistic movie before all these people got their eye on games? Like there was the movie about those guys who are in the army but are full of chips and people at home are controlling them.
Gamer?
That was even called Gamer. Nice.
That was a really weird movie.
That movie was actually very anti-video games.
Nobody used that in their narrative. I'm sad.
That movie was the most bizarre thing ever. That was fucked up. I mean,
according to that movie, playing video games is the same as molesting children. I'll say that.
No, according to that movie, playing a game was literally doing whatever, because you took possession of a person who'd sold their body to some corporation, and then you wandered off and fucked around with it. It was bizarre.
That's kind of sexy.
But the gamer
Dude.
that was in that movie was apparently, it was yes, that was right. There was prisoners, and the prisoners could win early release if they were victorious in a death match.
So it's like gladiators.
But the prisoners didn't have any control of their bodies during these death matches because they were handed over to gamers.
That's good. I like
This
That makes no sense.
that. Then it's like 17 cents is what you're talking about.
it makes no sense. So it's obviously perfect.
So yeah, you'd be fighting for your own early release from prison to the death, and you could have actually no control over your actions. You'd be controlled by some keyboard warrior in his basement. It was weird.
But to be fair, the keyboard warrior was trying to win huge money, so he was motivated not to let you will die.
Yeah, but the fucked up part of that movie really was, they kept skipping to other gamer-controlled avatars of people who just sold themselves, and those were mostly used to, play out sexual power fantasies and rape fantasies. It was really fucked up. It really was fucked up, and it really painted a nasty picture of gamers, but also
Did
a
the
nasty
prisoners
picture
just kept
of
raping each other, or how did that work?
you would just take control of a person out in the middle of their day-to-day life, and then you could use them to do whatever.
Okay.
So it was weird. I mean, it wasn't in a controlled environment or anything.
We don't need no stinking control environment.
So yeah, no, Gamer was a weird movie. Don't watch it.
I should totally watch it.
You should. It's terrible.
That's a nice recommendation.
Yep.
What not to watch with Panboy?
Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of things you should never do, if you're going on an airplane and your brother happens to be a Muslim, and you're probably a Muslim too because you're related, make sure to pack your own bag, because just recently in Australia, a man was arrested after boarding an airplane for having a bomb in his bag.
And he didn't do nothing.
Apparently, his brother packed it in there as part of a bigger terrorist plot.
It was a surprise.
Yep.
He wanted to surprise his brother with fireworks and those.
And he was all going to pin it on him.
No, he just wanted to make him happy for his birthday.
Oh yeah, he was like, oh
And
yeah, for your
the
birthday.
evil TSA stopped them. Well, it's Australia, so they don't have TSA.
It was on
Emus. It was the emus.
It was on July 15th by Etihad Airways, and apparently the bomb was disguised as a meat grinder, some kind of food processor.
Okay.
So it does grind meat.
Indeed.
Tasty.
That's a good legality. Let's take it to court.
And supposedly the guy was unaware. Mind you, if I was trying to board a plane and they found a bomb in my bag, I'd be like, I didn't put that there. That would be my go-to defense. So I imagine that was probably his go-to defense as well.
It's like you point at the nearest person. It was him. He happens to be a brother.
I didn't put those in their bag.
I know nothing about that very complex explosive device I have identified immediately by glancing at.
But sir, we never said it was an explosive.
Exactly.
Oh.
I never said that.
They never said it was explosive, so they don't know if it's an explosive. So why are you talking to me? Get out. Get out of the plane right now.
But we're already in the sky. I can't just walk out right now.
Well, it was
No.
in fact captured at security.
Yes.
It didn't get onto the airplane.
They are intruding on my safe space.
It's almost like airplanes and air security is actually tight these days, and it would be rather difficult to actually board a plane with an explosion. with a bomb. You know, with all the X-rays and stuff.
You can board a plane with an explosion.
Well, yeah, you've got your arse full of methane. I don't think that would be a very effective explosive. It might put a few people off airfares, but, you know, I don't think it'd be too effective. Although, that's... I need to check the airline's rules, see if I'm allowed to take a laptop on.
You are. I've taken laptops on airplanes plenty of times.
Yeah, so have I, but a bunch of airlines have updated their policies recently because of Samsung.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Samsung. Thank you. But I still like your refrigerators, don't worry. Oh my god! You guys don't think that my refrigerator will, you know, go boom?
Does your refrigerator have a battery?
No, it doesn't.
Then you should be safe.
But what if the power plant is made by Samsung?
God help us all.
Well,
Yes.
if it's Samsung, then it will just, you know, it won't be an explosion. It will just burn a little bit. I can live with that. That's the
See,
risk.
that's
of
an
it.
annoying thing as well. They're banning phones and shit from planes because a couple of batteries have went on fire. I was like, okay, a few batteries have went on fire. It's on an airplane. Do you know what would be worse than a phone going on fire in someone's pocket in the cabin? A phone going on fire in someone's bag in the baggage compartment. I guarantee that would be worse.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. I don't.
I'm pretty sure it would be really nice to be on an airplane and they say, well, in the luggage area, there's a bunch of fire. We kind of have to dig through like dozens of bags just to get to it. And by now, 1/3 of all your luggage has been burned. Also, just ignore that smoke coming out of the floor. It's normal.
Did you declare that smoke at airport security?
Exactly. It's checked smoke. It's perfectly safe. It went through airport security, okay? It's safe. It's regulated fire, you guys. It's regulated fire. No need to panic. Just maybe panic just a little bit, but then again, it's regulated panic. It's checked panic. It went through security.
What is the difference between regulated and unregulated panic?
Well, you see, regulated panic went through airport security, you see, so it's checked. Unregulated panic, has gotten on board somehow, and you don't know where it comes from.
Your mom.
No, because my mom is not on an airplane right now.
Oh no, not on an airplane.
I don't even remember the last time she went on an airplane.
But that's because your parents just go everywhere in that goddamn caravan.
Exactly, they're Dutch. They're even more Dutch than I am, because I travel around with a tent. They have their huge caravan that they hold all over the fucking place. And then they show the vacation pictures like, here's us and our RV. I mean caravan.
Caravan.
And
One day they're just going to wake up and say, let's go on a trip to South Africa.
And they just do it.
And it would take them 17 weeks just to get there. They stay for a weekend and go home.
I have a friend who one day was like, I got enough of work. And then he declared a vacation and just decided to get into the car and drive around Europe.
Hmm? Well, that's kind of more reasonable. You can fairly easily do that.
Oh, he got to Marseille.
How far is Marseille?
That's like southern France, so...
From Czechoslovakia, yeah.
Yeah, that's you have to go all the way across Germany and across France, and then maybe
Actually, he went through Austria and then France.
Oh, no.
That makes sense.
Not Austria.
There are hills in Austria. Did you know that?
Yes. As a matter of fact, we'll probably find out in a few weeks.
But you
You
said
get-
you go to Germany, Artrix. That's
Yes,
very
but
confusing.
we're yeah, it's very
Artrix,
confusing.
it's not World War II anymore. It's not Nazi Germany. Austria is a separate country now.
I know, right? I'll be very confused when I get there. We're like all the way in southern Germany, and you know we go into the car and we drive, and then there's like a sign that tells you you're in Austria. Even though it's even more confusing because it'll say you're in Oostenrijk. So you're like, you all me? My set never still.
It is pronounced Österreich.
No, it's Oostenrijk. It sounds,
Österreich.
you know, it's got more of a bite to it, so to speak.
Gotta put that Dutch into it.
Exactly. It makes it sound even more harsh. And then I'm super confused because my sat nav is like, you are going into Austria, and I'm like, but the sign says Oostenrijk. I don't understand.
What's in Austria?
And then you go back because you get all scared and confused, and then it says, Willkommen in Bundesrepublik Deutschland. What?
It says Germany.
Well, there's a sign that says I'm in Germany. That's what my satnav is telling me, not Deutschland.
It's kind of fun that every language is named after a different tribe. Like there's English with Germany and German with Deutsche and French with Allemand. That's 3 separate tribes.
Oh, you want to know what the Dutch and for that matter the Germans call France?
Frankrijk.
We call it Frankrijk.
Okay, well that's still Franks.
It's realm of the Franks.
Yes, that's why it's in France, but Germany, Deutschland, Allemand, like that's a lot. Like no, we just call them Niemcy, which means mutes, because their language, like who understands that?
They can't talk. They are just like animals.
Exactly.
Oh.
Slovan, as in the people who talk. We are the only real humans because only we talk. That's
Yes.
literally what the word Slav or Slovan means. People who can speak.
That's true, and that's probably why we call Germans Niemcy, because Niemi means mute. So
the thought process of every language on the planet ever. Everyone on the planet sounds like a bunch of animals except for us. We actually talk words. Everything else just random noises. Like
it's like
No,
all
you
those,
sound as if you were about to spit on the floor.
it's
I
like
know, right?
all those tribes on every island in the Pacific, whose name for the tribe is people.
It's kind of funny as well because the more and more they study animal linguistic patterns, the more they seem to be realizing, oh, hey, hang on a minute. Maybe we're just really retarded that we can't understand what the animals are saying. And they actually do have...
They semi-recently found out that the noises that dolphins make, it has the same structure as a language.
Well, obviously, it's like it's like a really primitive modem. And it's just they're just talking binary.
Well,
No, I'm pretty sure that animals have some kind of language.
I just want to make a point that while dolphin dial-up has the same structure as language, I feel I would be remiss if I didn't point out that dolphins have the same structure as a penis.
But they do, and
The
they
other
also use it to
penises of
create
the
effect.
sea.
They're also most aggressively they aggressively use those penises.
Well, obviously,
Everything that moves.
that's the successor of USB-C.
Oh
I
god,
mean,
I saw the worst picture of a dolphin enjoying himself once. He decided, you know what, I want to get off, but I can't find anything big enough to stick it in. So he bit a fish in half and used it as a flashlight.
Nice.
Not even joking, it happened. There's
Stay-
photos of it out there.
Well, they achieved basement level intelligence.
Stay classy, Animal Kingdom. Stay classy.
Dolphins are foul creatures.
They are. All I want is a world. I often, I've gone on record saying all I want is a world without cats, but actually all I want is a world without dolphins.
Yes, that's agreeable.
Hmm? I mean, those Japanese people in South Park, they're right. We need to get rid of them. Just delete dolphins from existence. No, not whales, dolphins. Also, wasn't that the entire point of the episode, that they shift the blame from whales to dolphins, and that's the reason why the Japanese are just killing?
They shifted the blame to chickens.
Yeah.
That's also agreeable.
Chickens are kind of right, but only as food, so I guess it kind of evens out there.
Well, you see, that was kind of the point of the episode. You see, the Japanese were hunting all the whales, and nobody understood why. And then they went to Japan, and they found out that they were blaming whales and dolphins for Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Because American propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Propaganda.
And then the Americans were like, well, do you know what? We need to get the Japanese to stop eating all the whales, and let's make them eat chickens. So it was actually the chickens who bombed them.
No.
And rinse and repeat forever until all animal species are extinct.
Yes, especially dolphins.
Well, obviously, then we just have to discover an alien species.
And that's a kind of problem, isn't it? Like, you can bomb dolphins.
Well,
if you convince them if you convince them that they're a really nice hole to stick your pee-pee in,
that's just wrong.
I know, it's perfect. Let's put it into practice. This problem will solve itself. No intervention required.
Apparently, there was another skyscraper fire recently.
Oh, yes.
It was not in England?
No, it was in Dubai.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I read about this sort of.
The nice irony is that the skyscraper is called a torch.
Oh, the irony.
Isn't it the really, 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 really tall building, or is it one of the not so tiny?
That's what skyscrapers usually like.
It's one of the
yeah,
taller
but
ones.
there's one that's really tall, like 800 meters tall or something like that.
Let's see. The Torch, yeah, that's the name of this tower. Once the tallest residential development in the world. So it's not the tallest anymore, but it was once one of the tallest buildings.
So it's probably still one of the tallest in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's not that much information about it here, except that some of the flats went on fire. Evidently, it wasn't a huge building-destroying fire. But, still, skyscraper fires...
Also, I think you know exactly why they build them that tall in Saudi Arabia and the Dubais and whatnot. Here's
They're
why.
trying to catch water from the clouds.
No. The real reason is, I'm going to lay this down on you. The real reason is because some of these people love the Ramadan so much that they go into the tower and they go all the way to the top floor as the sun is setting, and then they can get to enjoy 2 more minutes of not being able to eat.
Or they get to feast for 2 more minutes longer the day before.
Yes. So yeah, if you plan your shit right, and you can do all sorts of dumb fuckery, or better yet, just not bother with Ramadans and just be normal, I guess. In before ban this channel because joke.
We obviously live in a post-joke world.
Oh yeah, of course. So what's the verdict?
I don't know.
Oh.
I was just quoting an episode of Family Guy where they decided suddenly to shit on SJWs.
Yeah, I was trying to go with the joke by sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how I've been talking about, genetic modification with CRISPR recently, and how it's going to be the next big thing. they've successfully done a clinical study with it and managed to wipe out a disease in embryos.
Well, that does sound like a breakthrough, but is it?
Well, supposedly
But is it of any use for people that already are born?
Well, that's
I
obviously
don't-
very important.
I couldn't tell you that yet. Because the problem, of course, with all of this kind of research is a lot of people are still terrified of doing any kind of human experimentation because of all the rules that they brought in after World War II, making it a very, very dodgy area of science.
Hmm. Well, that's kind of the dark side of World War II's. Go ahead. Go ahead. You were roboting pretty badly.
Yeah, I just said that once again Hitler ruins everything fun.
Yeah.
But was it Hitler? Or was it this one scientist dude that did things like stitch people together and all sorts of fucked up shit?
Well, he was on Hitler's payroll.
Hmm. But you know, Hitler was a vegetarian. Obviously, he wouldn't approve of it if he knew. I'm pretty sure that he would be like, no.
PETA are vegetarians and they are basically terrorists.
Exactly. So Hitler would probably be like, no. No. Stop it. Stop. But Herr Hitler, it was a common cause. No, look. I might be, you know, systematically trying to eradicate an entire people, but no. What you're doing is just wrong.
Are we still talking about skyscrapers?
No.
Oh, that's sad, because I was about to remark that the best Quorerra is going to save everybody.
Oh, how is the best Quorerra going to save everybody?
Because they might finally start preparing the 30 years old giant hotel that never opened for opening.
But hold on, didn't they recently open it?
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw like a documentary and people were actually staying there and entire floors are empty because, you know, obviously they were...
Maybe some of the floors are in working order, but it like started in the 80s and then they always built it like 2 years and stopped for 3 years and that
because
it's
best
still unopened and it's still unfinished basically, and they are going to maybe finish it and open it. And then all the people from the burned hotel can go live there.
That's fucking great. Because I'm pretty sure, you know, best Quorerra is so great that they don't even know what to do with their hotels. They're like, look at how great we are. We are so great that we can't even fill our hotels with awesome guests. No, it's not Korea, not North Korea that's terrible. It's just the rest of the planet.
True to their general philosophy, the hotel looks like a pyramid made of glass combined with a missile. Talking about missiles, apparently they can now hit USA.
Oh, Korea?
Well, at least they try to pretend.
Well, they fired a missile and went like 100 kilometers from a plane, so the plane was like, nope, and the airlines decided to broaden their no-fly zone.
There was also the part where they where it didn't even get anywhere close to the United States, but barely managed to get anywhere near Japan, which is, you know, bad.
That is obviously enough proof that they can hit Japan right now.
If I was a Japan right now, I'd be kind of pissed. I'd be like,
look, it's very logical, Artrix, okay? So the rocket
I'm not sure if I can do this, but go ahead.
Near Japan.
Yes.
As good as if it was in Japan. And Japan also happens to be across some water. And that's exactly what USA is too. So obviously the rocket is able to hit USA.
Okay, yeah. Never mind that, you know, the Pacific Ocean is really fucking big. No,
look.
Minor details.
These kind of missiles are designed to go into space, and once you get into space, you don't really need to worry about any kind of longevity. You just float up there until Earth rotates until America's under you, and then you fall down. And that's how you do it. That's how I do it in Kerbal, anyway.
So yeah, you just shoot up the missile, and it's just chilling there. And Francis like, oh my god, the Pfizer missiles, fire shit. And then Leigh's like, but I'm tired. Then take a nap, the Pfizer missiles. But you don't really need to, because the missile's just chilling there, just waiting. And then get bored.
Also, the missile is not an actual rocket; it's just a giant bucket.
Yeah. So the missile just sits there, and then it gets bored, and then it goes away, because Moon is way more enticing. The Moon is like, oh hey missile, I heard you like gravity, and Missile's like,
Artrix,
fuck yeah, I like gravity.
I don't think you quite understand the mechanics of low orbit missiles. They don't quite go close enough to the moon to be drawn in. That said, however, if you were
it's
to
not
fire...
exactly low orbit.
Quite to the contrary, and the moon is quite far away from the planet. I'm quite aware of that.
Although the way I described it though is very silly, because if one was to actually launch a missile in that manner and expect to hit anything, your opposition side would have quite a long time to spot the missile coming, because it's just kind of just sitting there waiting for the rotation of the planet. It's like,
It will probably also stay in space.
yeah, but it'd be pretty easy to shoot. I mean, it's just sitting there waiting. The way actual intercontinental missiles work is they launch up into space and they have a ballistic trajectory, so they go up and they come down without stopping.
Yep. So yeah, once they're up there in space and they're like, yeah, fuck this shit, I'm gonna go home. Well, that's when shit gets hot.
They just fly up in a nice arc and come back down at pretty much the same arc and fly at you very, very fast. But if you see them being launched, then you can make an educated guess as to where they're going, and you do have a pretty good long time to shoot them down. And if you're somewhere like America and you have huge amounts of radar systems, Dopplers, and God knows how many anti-missile systems installed for shooting down all sorts of things, I don't think North Korea could reasonably expect to land a missile on American soil of any description.
Even if they could fire it in that direction, I think America would have enough time to move the entire country.
And that said, I don't think America would even let it get into orbit, not with their fleet sitting in the Pacific Ocean.
Well, you mean sitting off the coast of North Korea?
Yeah,
right next to Japan.
Exactly. Just sitting there waiting. It's like, oh hey, that looks like an actual missile with a payload. Maybe we should shoot that down. Do you know what? I think that's a good idea. What should we use of all of your armaments? Shall we send a jet after it to shoot missiles at it? Well, that'll work. Shall we just shoot it down with some of the giant machine guns on our boat? That'll probably work too. Shall we shoot it down with the anti-missile missiles on our boat? That would probably work. Should we shoot it down with our experimental railgun? That could be fun.
Also, let's lead North Korea while we're at it.
Or should we shoot it down with that big laser we developed in the 80s and have never had an excuse to use?
Or better yet, how about we use that super secret anti-mech system and just send back? Let them have a little bit of their own medicine. Oh yeah.
Or shall we just launch a nuke out of the submarine that's accompanying us and level the entire launch structure and the missile and everyone within 2 kilometers?
Hey, why start a nuclear apocalypse? They have that other type of bomb which is as strong as a nuke without any of the fallout.
Yeah, but that's not as much fun.
You know.
It was fun. Those are not commonly shot from submarines.
Yeah, I actually don't know if you can launch Moab in a vertical missile. They are pretty big.
That's kind of the problem.
It was fun when Trump dropped one on ISIS.
Indeed. I mean, Moabs are big bombs. I can't disagree with you there. But I don't know if
it for some reason.
I honestly don't know if they equipped their aircraft carriers with them because
It's
they are
like,
big.
Trump, what are you doing? Why are you fighting the ISIS? What is this?
What is this, like, I don't know.
How would you fight ISIS?
I was about to say I haven't heard of any terrorist attacks in the last couple of weeks, but then I looked at the news. And...
I heard, but as the French minister of something said, I got used to it.
Everyone should just get used to it. Don't be such a bunch of babies.
I mean, you think ISIS is okay with that? It's like, yeah, another terrorist attack, whatever. Just
that's kind of dangerous line of reasoning where it becomes normal.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Yeah, but then ISIS is like trying to inspire fear and insecurity and stuff, and people are like, well, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't help that we got a bunch of postmodernists in our society that are like, oh yeah, it's the West's fault, it's the Muslims and that are the ISIS, they're totally innocent, and they don't want.
If you didn't like being shot with trucks, then you probably shouldn't have lived here.
And then the terrorists are like, but we hate you guys. We want to blow you up because you're a bunch of non-believers. It's right here in the manifesto.
But we hate us. We hate ourselves too. Please blow us up.
But no, we want to do it.
ISIS is like disgusted and leaves.
Oddly enough, I just found another Australian story about a bomb diffusing.
Oh.
It seems Australia is the target of the week, rather than France or Germany. And there was another mosque in Afghanistan attacked, but
no one cares.
Yeah.
This is like a daily occurrence over there. Comes with the territory, I suppose. Anyway,
we should really just stop reading the news.
Just ignore it. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's talk about the happy thing. About the happy subject.
I read an article the other day, and it said that it's statistically probable that we are in a simulated universe.
Well, we probably are. I mean, I'm in it, so obviously this universe couldn't be real.
So are you saying
Are
you saying that the creationists are right?
Well, yes and no. You see, the creationists are like, yeah, the universe is made by God. But then I'm like, but no, because since we're in this simulation, it's obviously God's also a simulation, and you can't have, you basically recreate the God of the gaps, because in order for a God to create the entire universe, it needs to be infinitely more complex than the universe. But since the universe is simulated, then you need to have a complex system running within the simulation that's infinitely more complex than anything in the simulation.
Not necessarily. I mean, as you said, the God of gaps, that's basically how simulation works. Like, you don't have to render stuff that nobody's looking at, and you don't have to render stuff that's off in the distance.
But that's the thing, though. If you were to try to attempt to render a fully functional world, you would need to simulate things like plant and animal growth, and because of the plants and animals being observers of the growth, you would need to simulate everything around them,
Yes, but you can basically just simulate Earth and leave it at that, because if you were trying to simulate the entire universe concurrently, then you would have had a computer that's bigger than the entire universe.
Exactly, I think that was Artrix's point.
The real question.
Right now, it was a counterpoint to my point. Now, a counterpoint to Artrix's point was my original point, which was you can just simulate the Earth. I mean, Artrix, how many times did you get to space today?
6 times. It was kind of boring actually. I had to get some groceries, and they didn't have the beer I wanted.
All you
so
do in space is go to the mall on the moon, and that's it. Like you never get further than that. How do you know you can get further than that, huh?
I can see it. You know, the other day I was looking through my super advanced telescope.
It's just a backdrop.
Oh.
The stars are just painted onto the sky orb.
That explains why I saw the paint strokes and whatnot.
Indeed. It's not because you're actually having dementia.
Oh.
The one real question here is, who is running the simulation?
Me.
Yep. That's the most plausible explanation here.
Obviously, the simulation engineers. The real question is: are we simulated by a real universe or by a simulated universe?
Well, obviously we're running in.
How deep does this go?
Obviously we're running in Doc's box, so.
Doc's box.
Microsoft have done it. Went and did it. They slightly updated what command prompt looks like. I think it's got a different font.
They also decided to phase out MS Paint for the.
Oh yeah, that was also really big news.
The biggest tragedy of all time.
No more MS Paint. I'll really miss it because I used it so many times.
Artrix MS Paint was the best game of my childhood.
Me too. It was probably my first attempt at digital art. Just coloring individual.
It was my first open world sandbox experience.
Yes. It was like, oh my god, I can draw pixels on this program, and I just meticulously colored every pixel, and then I made a mistake, and instead of pressing Ctrl-Z, I just had to undo it all manually because I was a dumb little kid.
I think we all have to admit MS Paint held a special place for us who grew up in the 90s, and it was like the only image editing software that we knew existed.
Amen.
Well, I learned of this thing called Airframe View.
In front.
I hate it.
And I still use it to this day, and I'm very offended when documents open in the Windows.
I use it from View all the time. It's a great little piece of software.
Yes, it is.
Why do you hate it, Back? Why do you hate such a glorious...
Because we have it at work.
I see.
Well, that's the reason.
And like using the standard Windows of Windows 7, the standard Windows image preview thingy, it's like way more convenient and way easier to zoom and so on.
Oh, well,
did you just say that the image preview in Windows is more convenient than any program ever except for GIMP?
The Windows preview is useful, I agree. I use Infinite View for doing like batch processing on images.
I use it for viewing stuff that I don't care about. It's like it's like the lowest degree of effort. I mean, the situation went so far that at work, the computer that I got from the guy that left when I got in, well, it's in a very bad state. It can't install net frameworks and stuff like that, and it doesn't even display pictures in that preview. So that's why I installed InfraView.
Is that a server or a desktop?
Oh, that's a desktop.
Okay, so that's weird.
It's just bogged down with all the Microsoft crap that ever existed.
That explains it.
Well,
that explains all the things.
Except for Visual Studio, there was only one version of that only.
Oh, I've been reading a hilarious piece of shock news that's been going around lately. Some people have been spreading the narrative recently that that male sperm counts have been dramatically decreasing across the planet, and we're all going to be extinct in 100 years.
Haven't they been spinning that like the last 20 years?
Yeah, but it's bizarre because
I remember when I had in like 2003, well, I had read in 2003 that it's probable that in near future women just be splitting eggs and won't need men for reproduction anymore.
Well,
That's what the feminists would want.
Well,
it's
The
just
feminists are
silly.
fucking behind.
Because the human species is so overproductive when it comes to sperm counts based on how much you actually need that it's hilarious. The sperm count would have to drop to below 10% of what it is now to have any negative effect on our reproduction. So it's just hilarious that people are acting like it's end of the world kind of news, because it's not. And also the way evolution works, it won't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just won't drop that low. It's selective. You're not gonna. The people with sperm counts so low that they can't reproduce aren't going to pass that gene on, are they?
What's this logic you speak of?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Logic is oppressive!
Oh, it
Yes,
sure is.
Well, I mean, apparently, talking about genomes and shit, it might be a problem in the future, when it comes to C-sections.
Oh.
Because, it turns out that people who have C-sections usually have a very narrow baby exit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's the I think that's the medical term. And, well, that passes down in genes.
Yeah, there are some fashions in which we use modern medicine to override what really should be genetically impossible. That is probably damaging, yes. Kind of like how we keep people who have mental and physical defects alive who really shouldn't survive in nature.
At the very least,
I mean, most of those are not going to reproduce.
Yeah, that's what I've tried to say, that most of at least the ones with the mental defects, usually do not get to reproduce.
I mean, like everybody in this call.
I've seen enough people who are in happy relationships with pretty significantly special people that that I would quit.
You mean liberals?
Well, yes, but I'm more referring to actually people with Down syndrome. There seems to be plenty of people who are happy to mate with people with Down syndrome enough to spread the gene, which I think, as my Puritan master race touting the German, I don't have any German in me.
If you have a German in this call, that's enough.
And
but no, it's true that the people are going to continue to pass on these genes because actually those people do get into relationships and people are happy with it.
And this is how you get the Emoji Movie.
All of this, it all boils down to the Emoji Movie.
Our species is no longer evolving because selective breeding isn't a thing anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
It's like it's the premise of Idiocracy, where instead of the smartest, the brightest, the best, the strongest, it's just the idiots, and that too. It's wrestling and just the dumbest of fucks that get to populate the earth.
Fortunately, I don't think it's quite that bad. I think plenty of intelligent people are still reproducing to counter out the level of people who really shouldn't survive that are.
But for how long?
Probably forever, because regardless of how safe you try to make people, really dumb people are still going to get themselves killed.
Oh, forever
on average.
I like that.
Like people who drive far too fast on the road and run off the road and flip their car 27 times, and so much that even the safest cars on the planet can't save them. Which
that
begs
case-
the question, what's going to kill all these people when all the self-driving cars take over?
Well, that's the thing. So these people
Like
still be
for
around.
example- like for example, smoking in a closed space. Not sure.
Well, they
I was
banned smoking in closed spaces recently here.
Hmm.
And now you have all these clubs, smoking clubs for smokers. And it just happens that everybody who walks through the door is a member.
I don't think smoking in closed places actually has a negative enough effect on one's health to take you out of the gene pool.
You don't smoke enough.
Well, maybe they will try to push a fork into an electric outlet.
Look, everyone knows that. That's just science.
According to my physics teacher from the secondary, you can do that as long as you put the socket in the right hole. If you put it into the left one, you're going to have a bad time.
Well, so long as you're not really hurted, you're probably not going to get a severe shock anyway.
So you just need to levitate.
Well, it's just most buildings these days have wooden floors. Wood's not a very good conductor of electricity. It doesn't matter what you stick in the socket, you're probably not going to get a lethal shock. You'll get a shock, but it's probably
Just-
not going to.
Just you know, just a
It's
little bit.
relatively non-lethal.
Yeah. Compared to getting the full brunt of 230 volts going through you if you were to. Now, if you take each of your fingers.
It's kind of fun how it's 230 volts.
Mhm.
And I was small. It was always 220.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure the sockets didn't change in the meantime.
Actually, it's variable. It goes from anywhere between about 200 to 250, depending on the wiring and where you are.
Oh, here it's probably like 300.
That would probably be a bit too many.
Depending on the. I mean, I told you that sometimes when I flick the light switch on, the light bulb shoots. From
Yep. That can happen. Yes. You should probably have a look at your circuitry.
And the metal part stays inside. That's the most annoying thing because then I have to take tweezers and pull it out of there.
Yeah, your wiring is shit.
Oh, it's a house built in 60s and kind of improved in the 90s. What are you expecting? We are still using those old big ceramic breakers. And I don't think half of them has the original wire in them.
Okay, PSA, rubber wire insulation lasts 30 years.
Well,
Doesn't last longer than that.
This is
It's
probably
wrong.
only like 29. Come on.
Okay, if your house hasn't been rewired in 30 years, you might want to look in.
No, it wasn't rewired in. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it was finished in 68 or something like that.
look, rubber rots after about 30 years. It doesn't immediately fall off the cables, but after about that period of time, you need to start thinking about fixing up your cabling. Just FYI.
Just a little bit. You know, you don't have to think hard about it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just consider the following. If your cabling in your house is 40 or 50 years old, there is a very good chance that inside your walls, the insulation is crumbling off those cables, and it's going to start arcing between the exposed wires and flashing all over the wooden joists, and before you know it, your house is on fire.
Good news is that over here, the joists usually aren't wooden. Over here, everything is made out of steel and concrete.
This house is a mixed bag. Half of it is concrete, half of it is wood.
Now, there's still plenty of other things that go on fire, like the finish.
Steel
of the
beams.
house, things like floorboards and whatchamacallit, skirting boards and plastics and your furniture. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff to go on fire in your house, and it's probably all near an electrical outlet.
Did you know furniture can catch on fire?
It's true. I know.
Well,
Except for my desk.
Panboy, I wouldn't worry about that. I would worry about that part of the wall that has the wires ripped in and electrical taped to a cut-off extension cord.
Nah, that's fine.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
The electrical tape is probably a lot looser than the rest of the cable. it's gonna last longer.
Also, there's an electrical outlet from the other side of the wall. I think that's that's the pinnacle of my dad's engineering. I'm very afraid to touch it ever.
All right, look, that rewiring is actually very easy. What you do is you buy wire, okay?
Mhm.
You buy
That's already
take.
too difficult for me. Come here
Okay,
and
no-
do it. I'll give you food. How does that sound?
I think it's like
Extra thick.
something like 8 gauge. No, wait, let's do it.
I said food, not pizza.
It's like 18 gauge electrical cable, something like that. You should check it. And then you buy a coil of it, and then you go to each of your sockets, and you find which ones lead to which other ones, and you tie your new wire to the old wire, and you pull it all the way through the wall until the new wire comes out the other hole. See, that's the trick. You use the old wires to pull through the new wires. This way you don't have to tear out all the walls. It's a very handy trick, and it will get you through a lot of problems in life. The concept of using wires that are already there to pull new wires. Trust me.
Unless the previous owner was a lazy piece of shit, and they put the wire in there, but they didn't put in tubes and shit. So you pull the cable, and then you want to go through
There's
a
like
really
6
sharp
bends on the
bend,
cable.
and then it just snaps because it can't go through the hole, and then you're like, fug.
Artrix, I'm going to tell you a secret right now. Secret you might not realize, but nobody actually puts the cables in those tubes.
Yeah.
My
No.
brother does. He's currently renovating his house, and he puts virtually everything through tubes.
But your brother is insane. He likes
Even his
cars.
food.
Well, yeah, he likes building shit, so that's why he's over-engineering everything.
I mean, Panboy clearly also likes building shit. He knows.
Indeed.
He knows
just don't-
things about wires.
So I used to actually use those tubes sometimes when I was outside.
Well,
When they were inside, very rarely used the tubes because you didn't need to because they're
it's
inside.
reasonable to use them outside, but
Yeah.
like rain.
Although most electrical cable can handle most of the elements.
Also,
Pretty well.
there's children, which is a good reason to leave those cables exposed.
Yes, you want to get the children skilled.
Exactly.
The ones that are too dumb to understand electricity is dangerous.
Yes.
Shouldn't survive.
But that's how we get smarter population.
In fact, I would suggest that all around the world, we just put big exposed cables out and put a big sign on it that says, "Do not grab these 2 cables, you will die." And the pile of corpses should just be a warning to anyone. Like maybe you could forgive the first person for thinking that can't be true and grabbing it and then dying, but then you leave him there as a warning to everyone else who does it. And if the corpses just keep stacking up, you're like, wow, this population is dumb. But you don't remove it ever.
Speaking of stupid people,
Well, no, because the corpses are touching the wires.
Indeed. But that said, if you do grab both live and neutral, it doesn't matter if you're grounded or not, because you're going to go straight from live to neutral and die.
You will become the conduit.
And then you
Yeah,
become a
For a
ghost.
few seconds.
Then you're going ghost.
Yes, indeed.
That thing about replacing the cables I mentioned earlier, I forgot because I didn't consider it was important, but very important. Turn the power off at the fuse board before you start fucking with your electrical cables.
That's
Oh,
probably
come
good. Yeah.
on. It's just a bit of electricity.
A little bit
Ah,
won't hurt much.
Ah. I mean, he said it's only sometimes deadly.
Yes. I've been electrocuted off the mains a couple of times, and I'm not dead. Much.
Only inside.
Only on the inside.
Like it's a thing that happens. One time I was just plugging something in, and I touched the live pin. It was an accident. It could happen to everybody, and it does. These things happen. And then it's like, ow, that really hurt. And then you get along.
only happened when I was pulling something off the socket and touched the pins when I was pulling out.
See, happened to you too when you were pulling it out of your girlfriend.
Yes.
Anyway, I think we have about, let's see, 20 minutes on the clock, so let's
Okay,
bring
so,
up...
let's talk about all the topics we wanted to talk about.
Yes, starting with, since we already talked about stupid people and PSAs, basically, Slovakia is currently going through a massive heat wave, and apparently people are dropping like flies.
They are also going through a massive heat wave. That's why my boss decided to cycle 93 kilometers. Logic.
That's very smart of him.
Yes, he's 66 years old.
Exactly, he's extremely smart.
So yeah, people are dropping like flies because they aren't properly hydrating. And so the city of Bratislava decided to start a campaign.
No.
They got not every single, but every pop singer and every rapper that they could afford, and made them make songs about how people should properly hydrate during the heat and how they shouldn't go out during high noon. Insert Overwatch jokes. It's as cringy as it sounds.
Did they recommend you intake water through your mouth orifice?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Job's done.
It's like, please maintain the drinking regime, and people are like, we already were through one regime that didn't end up well. They don't drink, they die.
We don't need another one. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
So how enjoyable was this experience of pop culture?
It's how to put it. Have you ever seen that old American cartoon All Stars to the Rescue quotation movie?
Yes, I have. It was amazing.
Yeah, this was like 1,000,000 times
better,
depending on your preferences.
I see.
What if I like drinking water?
I have no context for what you're saying.
That what you just said, the I like drinking water, that was actually one of the lyrics.
Ah, good. It's important to tell people they should drink, and water is a liquid that you can drink.
I mean, if this was addressed at small children, then maybe. But I think this stuff was addressed at, well, I'd say 14-year-olds and older.
That's silly.
That sounds...
kindergartners.
In all honesty, even 14-year-olds need to drink sometimes, I think.
Here's an important question and relevant. Did they tell you to drink cold water or room temperature water?
I mean, I could not endure the entire thing.
I mean, room temperature water in this weather is like 32 degrees.
Yeah, but it's actually important because if you drink cold water when there's a heat wave, it's actually worse for you because your body has to spend energy heating the water up to the mean temperature, and then you're actually expending energy, which is making you hotter to try to get colder. It actually accelerates heat stroke. So if you actually are experiencing heat stroke in the heat, drinking cold water is bad for you.
I skip that step and get ice cream.
Yeah. Actually, ice cream's probably good for you. But no, you should, if you want to cool down, you have to apply the cooling externally. It's true. But you still do need to drink water, yes.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, you're much better off drinking room temperature water than drinking cold water. Although drinking cold water is probably better still than not drinking and fucking dying of heat stroke. You dumb arse.
Have you tried not dying of heat stroke?
You know, you're
own fault.
you're there lying on the asphalt, just burning away, and then asphalt, and then
because you're an ass and it's your own fault.
so you look up, and in the haze of everything, this vague figure appears, and it's like really noodly and shit, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you look closer, and it's Clippy, and Clippy is like, it looks like you're dying of a heat stroke. Do you want me to do something about that?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck off.
I just saw a news article saying that indeed temperatures in South Europe are expected to rise to nearly 50 degrees Celsius. That's hot.
So rise, even more, rise even more in the upward trend and direction that is going up.
But guys, remember, global warming is a myth made up by Chinese.
I mean, but that's good. There's going to be, yes, that's next week. There's going to be a metal festival.
My God.
Are you going
You're
to
all
be
gonna die.
I'm not going there. It's too far away. But Boss is going. He's going to die there.
Okay.
Ask him to put you on his life insurance.
Yeah, exactly. Do that right
So
now.
to be fair, he said that when it was, what was it, the last great heat wave, that was 2 years ago. He said that he spent most of the day at the swimming pool.
That's probably wise.
Also, and Panboy is now going to suffer a small stroke. I had the best lunch. I had some hot food, which made me hot in the hot weather, and they gave me a drink that had ice cubes in it, so it was colder than anything on the planet at the moment.
Oh no.
So I got like extra hot.
Indeed.
You could say I got super hot.
Well, I was probably overemphasizing the effect cold water has on you.
Oh yes. Also, another topic, because apparently, I mean, I think we already exhausted all there is about strokes and waters, and you are going to have even bigger stroke because, you know, AI is taking over.
Before you know it, it'll take our jorbs, or something like that.
Is this about the AIs developing their own secret special languages?
To take over with? Yes.
My God, that sounds terrible. I'm sure that's the worst news ever, and it's not at all overblown.
I'm sure no sensationalized.
AIs, they are very intelligent, Panboy.
Mm-hmm. Incredibly. I keep telling people exactly how intelligent modern AIs. I have explained in detail that they are so incredibly intelligent. And they
you know, you're just sitting there, you know, reading your newspaper. You look away for just a few seconds, and God damn it, that AI has just invented a new city. Just build a city out of fucking nowhere. You're like, you man. Where's the city come from? And I don't know, it's just something to do. Okay, but you look at your newspaper, you look back, and now it's built an entire planet.
Go on, Zav.
As far as they use
go
the
ahead.
newspaper, and you can even read the sports section.
You need to inform us in detail of this horrifying new threat of AI language.
Okay, so what happened, and that was a prelude to that, is Elon Musk, the great visionary, the technical Jesus of our time, who has the best and totally original ideas. He was talking with that Jew guy with weird hair from Facebook, and he was like, AIs are much threat. We will be doomed if they're not regulated. And then the guy with the weird hair was like, it's not gonna happen. That's stupid. You are stupid. And then a few days after that, Facebook was testing their AIs to have, well, I think they had balls, and they were supposed to trade the balls and do some exchange deals. And then they found out that the AIs have escaped their programming and developed their own sinister language.
My God.
I'm pretty sure the language probably sounds lot like Dutch. That's the only logical explanation.
I actually, I must confess, I read deeply into this horrifying threat recently myself. Why don't you explain to us the nature of this incredible language the AIs came up with?
Because I'm trying to find an example of
Was it just nothing but Pepe memes?
No,
No.
it was so much more sinister.
It was related to the trades that they were supposed to do. You know, they were trading balls and evaluating them. Actually, there was a set value for it, and well, they just went and tried it for a bit, and suddenly they stopped saying this ball has value and stuff. It just decided to repeat me ball. I have much. I actually have a excerpt from this from the very sinister and developed AIs, Bob and Alice. And Bob says, "I can I everything else." And Alice is, "Balls have zero to me. Bob, you I everything else. Alice, balls have a ball to me. Bob, I can I everything else. Alice, balls have a ball to me too. Bob, I.
To be fair, that does sound like something computer would say. Just...
By the way, this news is just in. The American police is currently hunting a guy for jacking off in a theater while watching the Emoji Movie.
What the actual fuck? So that's...
If you were going to pay for the tickets, wouldn't you try to enjoy it at least?
That seems to be a strain of thought. Well, this movie is boring as balls. Balls?
Oh, balls.
Balls! That gives me an idea.
Oh, God. But let's not try to think too much about why someone would be jacking off in a children's movie.
Speaking of children's movies, little change in topic.
Let's topic.
We should finish the topic about the AIs.
Okay.
Wrap it up. They conveniently forgot. So, apparently, if you can believe that, that's not something that the AIs would take over board with. They just decided to simplify the human speech because you know they are working on numbers and logic.
So instead of actually saying "give me 4 balls," one AI would say to the other, "just say to me 4 times instead of saying 4 balls." It's like, I want to me balls. Because to the computer, that's no grammatically longer than actually working out how to say 4, because it has to iterate through 4 times anyway. So why bother count? Just say it 4 times.
Yeah.
For a computer, that's faster. Grammatically, in English, it's slower, but in computer, it's faster.
Then the Facebook researchers shut it down. And I liked how the article that I read decided to point out that they shut it down because they didn't want the AIs talking gibberish at people, not because they were afraid.
Yeah, no, they said that they wanted to change it to add weight to proper English.
Yeah,
it's like, the way we've trained these has not gotten a good solution. We need to weight good grammar in there.
So I think the best part about that was that they added the line about the researchers not being afraid of the AIs after the article was written. It was an edit.
So dumb.
So I guess some people down in the comments were struck with fear or something. I don't know.
My God, AIs developing language. This is terrible.
AI is the most misused term ever.
Oh, it gets even better. The guy who was jacking it at the Emoji Movie was apparently Jewish.
Was that related?
Every sperm is sacred.
Oh,
No, that's Mormons.
that's
Something
Buddhism.
That's Catholics, actually.
See, religions conserve sperm.
That's a quote directly from the Book of Liv.
Yep. Anyway.
I have the book here.
And anyway, so we have about 10 minutes on the clock, so let's go to Sekele's topic.
Panic!
Yeah, let's panic! Let's do it now! Panic.
On the Dutch trains.
This was just some news that basically they announced a sequel to the... And apparently Gutierrez is going to be directing it. Gutierrez is the guy who, among other things, co-directed The Book of Life, which was an okay movie, and who created El Tigre.
And what is he gonna direct?
A movie.
Go.
A movie.
The Lego Movie sequel.
Oh, okay.
Why would you do
Well,
that?
the Book of Life, I've seen it. It was an alright movie. Story was kind of cheesy, but it does pull your heartstrings, or at least whatever's left of it. But I suppose they can make it into something nice. But I also don't see someone like him working on a Lego Movie.
I would have thought they'd try to keep with the same director for a sequel to the Lego Movie if they actually wanted it to be as successful. Or maybe that director's working on something else already.
Maybe. Well, there was already the Batman movie, which was basically just a sequel, indirect sequel to the Lego Movie, right?
And there is another Lego Movie as well coming out, the Ninjago movie. See, there's a lot of Lego movies, so I'd say
Ninjago was that Lego line that came too far for me to be interested in it.
Yeah, they
all about Bionicle. Bionicle is the shit.
They probably just need to grab every director they can to make all the Lego movies. There's probably gonna be a Lego movie about My Little Ponies at some point, and
no, not really. They did try at one point to make
of course
My Little Pony Lego, like My Little Pony Lego set, but the negotiations with Hasbro kind of failed. And apparently Unikitty was originally, like in the original draft of the script, was supposed to be Pinkie Pie.
Oh god.
Because it was written at the time when negotiations were taking place.
Yeah.
Well, just think of the shitstorm we would have had if that actually went through and was Pinkie Pie. Though in hindsight, I'm glad that she's her own original character. Do not
imagine all the porn.
Honestly, though, the Lego movies have kind of got licenses with basically all the major license holders except Hasbro. It's kind of weird.
Because Hasbro has the how do you call the Lego knockoff? Blocks? Yeah, blocks.
Talking
I have
the strangely high office budget thing movies. Did you ever realize how many famous people play in Spy Kids?
Yes.
That's mostly thanks to Rodriguez.
That's probably. I mean, you have Banderas, that's the obvious thing, but then you have like Sylvester Stallone and Salma Hayek. There's George Clooney.
I think actors go to Spy Kids because they can just basically take a day off and act silly for a few hours.
Yes, but you watch it when it comes out and you are probably a kid, and then like 10 years or 15 or 70 years later, like, my god, I know all these people from serious movies. That's even Steve Buscemi.
Yes, but Patrick Stewart played a poop in a movie about emojis. So
what a shit performance.
I would go to see the movie if there was a real life Steve Buscemi just in the middle of the emojis and trying to get out.
Why does that exist? Why do emojis exist? I hate emojis. I hated them before they were cool.
Back in my day, we called them smileys.
And we used the keyboard and to be creative and stuff, but now the kids are just pressing buttons on the smartphone and little faces come out that are just retarded.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And then you got
they still retarded.
Anyway, on that retard note, this was the end of this episode of Ray Rothingham. I hope you hated it. You probably did.
Yeah.
So I'm using reverse psychology now. You actually really, even your dog, he really hates us right now. Just listen to it being, you know, very angry. I bet it's ready to kill someone to death. So yeah, next week is probably gonna be the last episode of Radio Rothingham before Artrixcon 2017. So make sure to catch it as I draw Bastion from the Overwatches, and then all the characters will finally be drawn. And then I'll never have to draw them ever again, except I probably will. But not on Radio.
Move on from this horrible, horrible series.
But at least then I can draw the characters on Radio Rothingham. Or you can send me $10 and then I draw whatever you want me to draw. Except of course if it goes against your terms of service and whatnot. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye bye.